Good morning, everyone. I am Joey Milstein from Leaf Logistics in New York City. Great to be out here. Thanks to Plug and Play. Just first, the last time we were here, we had a different name. We were called Logistics Exchange. We've come out of beta, and now we have a little bit of a sexier name called Leaf Logistics. For those of you who don't know what we are, we are a digital platform for buying and selling domestic transportation dynamically on a digital platform, which is an actual exchange. So I won't get into the details just yet, but let's talk a little bit about the history of domestic transportation. This is a chart which was put together by Coyote, which shows that over the last years, the peak to trough delta is about 50%. Not sustainable. All of us who have been working in shippers or working for 3PLs or logistics service providers realize that irrespective of having a contract with a low C, these contracts are not binding. When the spot market rate is high, you have the carriers and the LSPs taking advantage of the spot market regardless of what the contract says. When the spot market rate goes down, the shippers take advantage of the spot market. And what happens? With shippers, they exceed their budgets by up to $40 million. This is an actual example, irrespective of having contracts that they thought were binding. And oh, by the way, if you're a transportation provider, we know that thousands of them go out of business every single year. So what did we do? At Leaf Logistics, all of us came from industry. All of us, we have an average of 20 years of experience contracting domestic transportation and realized that we fit the definition of insanity, which we all know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and getting the same result. With no change. So what did we realize? That there's an opportunity here for binding real contracts with logistics service providers and shippers. Because we end up spending $90 billion a year throwing fax machines, telephone calls, and people at the problem. So let's just talk about quickly what we're not. This area has been taking place. We are not freight forwarders. We're not a digital broker, and we're not the app like Convoy and UShip and Uber Freight. I need a trailer now. Here it is. What do I go back? We operate in what we call the plannable and predictable space. This is the stuff that's contractable. Our motto is if it can be planned, it should be planned. And oh, by the way, we've identified through our data science and analytics, 70% of the cargo that moves domestically can be planned. So this is a real life examples. If you can see the wider green, those are forward contracting opportunities. So what we do on our platform is we have set up an opportunity for shippers to go onto the platform and buy and sell capacity as needed. And oh, by the way, there's a safety valve to trade it back if you no longer need the platform. And this is kind of what it looks like. So with a forward contract, so if you're a shipper that has a contracted rate of $1.83, you can see that the spot market rate was $1.90, and if they had a 3-month forward contract, it would have been much less.
Be careful of the step behind you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we invite you to come join the platform. I want to just say that the early adopters, some key metrics. Where we were when we were here back in February, we were operating about in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of contractable spend by shippers, and that's in various industries, in retail, in beverage, in the chemical industry. We're finishing up the quarter. We're going to have about $10 million of contractable spend, and the trajectory is to do about $100 million in the next quarter. Some other key metrics is that early adopters are finding that hard savings is between 5 and 20% on contractable loads with forward dynamic contracting. And if you take into consideration the $15 billion of demand data that we have on our platform to build in round trips coming back, it's about 30% savings. So we invite shippers and logistics service providers alike to come join us on the journey. I want to thank Plug and Play. Just from being part of this forum, we've had great traction with 3 of the corporates, and we hope that trajectory keeps moving forward. So I want to thank everyone. Have a great day. And one last thing, I know I'm running out of time. Our friend Boris had his initial statement said, why do we need this? And I'd say the same thing, why do you need a Leaf platform? If you want to avoid the potential triage of picking up the phone and fax machines and figuring out how to find capacity and freight when capacity runs out, this avoids all of that. If you have if you have most of your freight in a planned binding contract, you won't have to deal with the triage when that emergency comes. So, thanks.